People who used to not believe in ghosts but do now. What experience changed your mind? I was probably in early high school or late middle school at home with my sister of 4 years younger and our dog. Our dog was very calm indoors, and he rarely ever barked and never acted aggressive. All of a sudden, he got really aggressive / defensive near our back door / kitchen and stared and growled at the corner ceiling of the room. The corner was completely empty and there wasn't anything we could see. We tried to pull him away, but he wouldn't budge. I checked the window curtains for any bugs or anything but nothing was there, and he fixated his gaze above the curtains. I went out to the backyard and peeked up and down my driveway as well to see if maybe my dog heard something from outside, but nope. Opening the door didn't interest him at all. My sister and I kind of stared at each other, and that sent chills down both of our spines, as just our looks at each other confirmed we were both experiencing this thing. We didn't say a word to each other in the moment, but I'm pretty sure we were both thinking some paranormal shit was there that our dog sensed. Over a couple of weeks years ago, living with my ex, while we were in the shower together, the bathroom door got knocked on extremely hard and aggressively. Got out and opened it basically straight away and there was no one there. No one was in the house and all the doors were locked. We also had the cliche footsteps, and I remember one night there was this weird music coming from nowhere but still in the house. That was whack. A Friday night, maybe Saturday, it was years ago now. Some teenagers from next door came and knocked saying there was someone in the house with them. They were alone for the weekend, so my mates and I plus them and my partner went out with them. We saw the lights go out all at once but no one came out. The cops came and called for backup. They went through and found no one after looking for like 15 minutes. The thing is though, unless whoever was in there could climb 4 meters in a few seconds, the only way to the street was past us. They stayed with us the night, but we never heard anything about it again. They also moved away maybe a month after, I think. The last thing that went down over those weeks was the one that fucked with me the most. I heard as clear as day my name said right behind me and then footsteps above me while doing some early morning weekend work. I used to work in a very high security facility, and for someone else to be in the building they would have to have been let in by me and couldn't be in there before me as the alarms couldn't be deactivated without my fingerprint. I almost shit myself, and after talking with my boss on the phone and checking that there really wasn't anyone else there besides me, no cars besides my work car and my private car locked in the grounds with the other work cars, there I bailed and never did Saturday mornings alone. After that, nothing ever happened and nothing before. I still think about those weeks all the time. It was f***ing weird, and I have no explanation besides if I know ghosts. We were in the process of moving from an apartment over a business, and I told the landlord about an experience I had one night. I got up to go to the bathroom, and in the hallway I saw 3 dark shadows moving along the wall, man-shaped, and it looked as if you could reach through them into an infinite void. I was terrified and started yelling, and my father came out of his bedroom to see what was the matter and said I was dreaming it. I know to this day I wasn't. It was very distinct, and I was standing in the hallway. So as I tell the guy I'm glad to leave the place, no offense, he tells me sincerely that years ago the shop was a bakery and there was a fire that burned the place, and it was rented by 3 brothers who perished. He had the most bizarre look on his face trying to see if I was pranking him. Totally weirds me out to this day. Most of my family is extremely religious and believe in ghosts wholeheartedly. Most of them claim to have seen something paranormal at some point in their lives. I wasn't very religious, and I always thought to myself, if I haven't seen it, then it's not real. That changed during my senior year in HS. I was dog sitting at my great aunt's house while she was out of town for a few days. A little after midnight, I'm watching a movie and my aunt's dog starts barking like crazy and runs up the stairs at full speed. The dog was small but fierce. Suddenly, I clear as day heard a gravelly voice at the top of the stairs say, "Bad doggy." The voice was deep and masculine. I went upstairs because I was certain nobody else was supposed to be there. I looked around and there was nobody in sight. The dog was still barking at something that I couldn't see. She was just barking at an empty hallway. That's when I heard footsteps walking away from us down the hall and into my aunt's bedroom. I could hear the footsteps, but I couldn't see anybody making them. I noped the fuck out of that house with the dog and went outside in my car. The dog and I slept there for the night. I'm not entirely sure WTF I experienced that night, but I definitely believe in the paranormal now. I never told my aunt about what happened, but apparently my great uncle, her husband, had died in that house a few months after I was born. I never knew him, but I'm willing to bet that it was him who I heard that night. I still don't believe in ghosts, but I did have a strange experience. I had a cat who I found in a ditch many years ago. She was cute, and I pet her, so she followed me back down the train tracks about a mile to my home. I opened the door for her, and she went in. She was offered the opportunity to go back out, and did for a moment, but then came back in. She was mine forever. I've had many pets over the years, and loved them all, but this one was different. She wanted to be near me all the time. I'd often said I'd never had a cat who made me feel like my personal space was being violated before. She followed me up to bed every night and purred me to sleep. She died fairly quickly. I barely even had a chance to say goodbye. I knew she was ill, having been diagnosed with hypothyroidism, which cat owners will know is not a good thing to hear. Although progress has been made, ask your vets about the pens. They've worked miracles for my current cat who also has it. They vomit their food up and waste away slowly, eventually succumbing to either congestive heart failure or kidney damage. She had taken a turn for the worse, and I thought her treatment wasn't working. On examination, they found tumors in her stomach and liver. She had been dealt a mortal blow and was only going to suffer harder and harder. In the most painful one I've ever had to deal with, I put her down, and she even meowed one last time before the end. I forgot to mention that this cat was also the most talkative I've ever had. She frankly wouldn't shut up. I buried her in the yard to keep her close and tried to go to sleep, completely beside myself with grief. As I lay down, I heard something familiar. I live in an old house and my bedroom doesn't have a door, so I installed one of those plastic sliding doors. The slats it's made of make a telltale clacking sound when they are disturbed, like they did when a cat pushes in between them and the door frame. I heard this, and a moment later, I felt the foot of my bed compress, and could feel the mattress deform around my feet, up beside my legs, and roughly to my hips. I looked. No cat. I don't know how to explain this. I don't believe in ghosts, and I'm sure grief can cause some pretty significant psychological disturbances. A quick perusal of my post history will very quickly show I'm anything but cuddly, but I was absolutely in the kind of deep grief where one would expect that, as I loved that cat more than basically anything else. Even typing this now, years later, is making my eyes well up with sadness for my lost friend. I could write off the sound of the plastic slats as a breeze or a hallucination. Older members of my family said they saw my father after he died, and I've read about grief-induced hallucinations before. But to feel my mattress deformed like that, in exactly the way she used to circle my feet and come up beside me, I don't know what to think. I was staying in the Stanley Hotel in Estes Park, Colorado, the hotel that inspired Stephen King to write The Shining. Around 1 AM I heard what sounded like children running up and down the hallways interspersed with laughter. Opened the door to see what the hell was going on, and didn't see anything. Quick little buggers, I thought. Then the next morning when my so and I took a tour of the building, the guide stopped directly in front of our room to tell us the story of young girls whose ghosts can be heard running up and down that same hallway. My parents have stayed at the Stanley and experienced the exact same thing. Not super loud but clearly, kids playing in the hallway. When they checked out, the front desk person kept asking how things were during their stay. My mom kept saying things were fine with no problems, but the agent kept asking. So my mom finally said that, if she had to say something, someone's kids were playing, but they were not disturbing them. That was when the agent told my parents that, since it was end of season, they were the only people in that area, and no children were registered anywhere in the hotel. Apparently it happens all the time in that area of the building, and the agent was trying to see if they experienced it without asking a leading question about ghosts. I was 8 when my grandma died. I was sad. So around 2 months passed and I was going at grandma's house where my grandpa lives. So I wake up at 3 AM and hear footsteps from bedroom door. I froze. I saw my grandma walking up to me and she said hello little sweetie and walked away. It was not sleep paralysis because I could move my hands and feet. At morning I told to my grandpa about it and he said I've seen grandma almost every night. She likes to visit. So don't be scared next time when you visit. I have a story. So in high school, I worked kids' birthday parties. The place was basically a giant gym, and gymnastics/dance classes were also held there. One day, I came in, and one of the girls I worked with, who was very spiritual and very religious, was totally freaked out. During the gymnastics class she taught that morning, one of the kids was staring up at the ceiling. When she asked the kid what he was doing, he said there's a little boy up there and pointed at the ceiling. Strange enough, but whatever. Kids are weird. Later, 2 girls who were working a birthday party before mine came out of the gym and were visibly shaken. A pair of 5-year-old twins went down a slide and then stared at the ceiling. They both said that there was a little boy up there in the same spot on the ceiling that the kid from the morning gymnastics class. We all went in and inspected the ceiling. Of course, it was just a regular grey warehouse Y ceiling. But we were all super freaked out at that point. During my party, I was pushing a little boy on the giant swing we had in the gym. He too began to stare at the ceiling. He said directly to my face, "Hey, there's a little boy up there." We told all of our coworkers and managers about the 3 separate experiences we had today with children from different parties and classes seeing a little boy on the ceiling. The next day, we had downtime between parties and nobody was in the gym. There are cameras in the gym that allow parents to see their children playing from the lobby. My manager called us out of the break room. "Guys, check this out." We come out and see the screen, which is streaming from the gym, showing that giant swing going back and forth. Nobody's in there. It's just the swing going. I like to think that the ghost was truly a little boy who just wanted to play and he finally got to go on the swing. Could be worse. Hey, if you want to get all of nothing, you can join my Discord. There is a link in the description. Have a great day.